welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a few days in my life. I've done quite a bit of book shopping damage. First 5-star read of the year. I have a couple of fun things that I'm doing this week into next week. However, I don't have any specific reading plans. So this video is pretty much going to be a what I'm reading versus what I'm doing. Some of the things that I have going on this week are on Friday, my sisters and my cousin and I were going to this murder mystery dinner event. My sister found a restaurant in the city that hosts murder mystery event type dinners where you get to sign up as a group and you get to go to the dinner, have dinner, and throughout the dinner there's actors, I think, that are playing out a murder mystery and each table has to kind of solve it. I don't know if it's treated like a competition between the tables or the people that are attending the murder mystery dinner, or you kind of just solve it within your table and that's that. But either way, I'm very excited, so I thought it'd be fun to vlog the experience. And the next week is actually Lunar New Year, which my family celebrates, so I thought it'd be fun to extend the vlog into next week. We're going to be doing a couple of Lunar New Year related activities and things with my family, and then on my boyfriend's side of the family we're also celebrating Lunar New Year, so I thought it'd be fun to see what I can vlog and capture for those events as well. So that's what I'm doing. On to what I'm reading. I'm actually in the middle of 3 different books. A couple of my friends and I decided to start a book club this year, which I'm very excited about, and the first book that I picked for our book club was The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. This is a cozy murder mystery. This one specifically is about senior citizens. They live in a retirement home and they're trying to solve a murder that had something to do with their retirement home. I'm about 50% of the way through with this book, but I'm taking a break from reading it, so I don't think it'll be included in this video, but my friends' holds from the library were a little bit more delayed than mine was, so I ended up reading it first, and I'm just waiting for them to catch up a little bit, so I'm taking a break from reading this for now, but I'm enjoying it. It's just something that really piqued my interest, and I think because I don't read that many mystery thrillers anymore, I'm not that intrigued by it, but overall it's a fun, lighthearted read. The next book that I'm currently reading is Us Against You by Fredrik. I read Beartown back in December of 2025, loved it, gave it 5 stars. It is as good as everyone says it is. So when I had bought this, I wanted to jump right into the next book in the series. I'm only 60 pages in, but I'm enjoying my time so far, and I know that this is probably going to be as sad as Beartown was. I believe the series is marked as contemporary or literary fiction, but essentially it is about a community, Beartown, that loves hockey. They live for ice hockey, and everything about the town is about ice hockey. And in the first book, something extremely tragic happens within the community, and it kind of derails the hockey team, and it derails a lot of relationships within the community. Obviously, I can't say too much about what's going on in this book because 1, I just started, and 2, it's a second book in a series, so I don't want to spoil the first book at all, but I would highly recommend Beartown. It is an extremely well-written book, and I think that anyone can kind of connect to the story or connect to a character in the story very well. However, I would highly recommend reading trigger warnings before picking up Beartown because there are some pretty traumatic events that happen within the story. And the last book that I'm currently reading is The Dragon Republic by Kuang. This is the second book in the Poppy War trilogy. I'm reading it on my Kindle because it's actually on Kindle Unlimited, which I did not know until Sarah Crowley pointed it out, and that kind of launched my desire to pick this series back up. I read the Poppy War back in 2024, I think, and I really did enjoy it. I think I gave it 4.5 stars or 4.75 stars or something like that, but for some reason I had no desire to pick up the second book until now, so I'm hoping I can finish the second book this month and then finish the last book in the trilogy sometime this year to knock off the series in my series tracker. I actually had to watch a detailed summary of Poppy War because I could not remember what happened in the book. I have very general memories of certain events that happened within the story, so I watched a detailed summary to make sure I remembered things for this read, and I cannot give a well nuanced description of the book, so if you want to read it and you're interested, I would just recommend looking up a synopsis because I cannot give one properly. Anyways, that's everything that I'm reading and everything that I'm doing for the next week and a bit. Done quite a bit of book buying damage in the past few months. Some of these are received, others I have bought, so I thought it'd be fun to do a little bit of a book haul. I think this is from I want to say November to now. So from November to like end of January, these are all the books that I have bought or received. The first two books I actually received as part of a birthday present. Both of these books I read in 2025 and I gave 5 stars, and that is The Favorites by Lane Fargo and then The Bright Years by Sarah DeMoth. This is probably my favorite book of 2025, and I'm very happy that I have my own copy now because I do plan to reread it sometime soon and possibly annotate the physical copy. And then like I mentioned, I also gave The Favorites 5 stars last year. I read this on my Kindle. I don't have to buy books that I've already read unless they're 5 stars or they have the potential to be reread, and I do think I'll probably reread both of these books sometime. Now for the rest of the 13 books, I did buy them all myself. On the same vein of not trying to buy books that I've already read, I do have 2 books here that I've already read but I did want to get my own physical copy of, and that is The Wedding People by Alison S. Patch and The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I love Rachel Gillig's books so much. The Shepherd King duology is one of my favorite fantasy series of all time, and then I also really liked The Night and the Moth. I also gave this book 5 stars last year when I read it. I want to get my own copy. And then also The Wedding People. I read this book in 2024, I think the end of 2024. I didn't give this book 5 stars. I think I gave it 4.5 stars, but I did really enjoy it and do plan to reread it. Next, I also got a copy of The Outsiders by S.C. Hinton. I loved this book growing up. I think I've read it probably over 10 times at this point and watched the movie maybe like 5 times. I really wanted my own copy of it because it's such a nostalgic book to me, and I feel like I will probably want to reread this. Growing up, I loved this book a lot. And then I also grabbed a copy of And the Mountains Echoed by Khaled Hosseini. I read A Thousand Splendid Suns and The Kite Runner back when I was like a teenager. I love those books. He's an amazing author, and I think if you like historical fiction and you love an emotional book, if you love a Kristen Hanna book, definitely pick up Khaled Hosseini. Next up, I got a bunch of classics. These are the Word Cloud classics. I got Emma by Jane Austen, Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and then Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. They're just very pretty on my shelf, so I'm not even that mad that they're not the paperbacks like it said on Book Outlet, but I wanted to get into classics more. I have like 3 classics on my 2025 TBR this year, and I'm hoping to get through some of the classics on my shelf. Next up in the book haul, I got Us Against You by Fredrik Backman. Next up in the book haul is Rue by Kim Thuy. I haven't heard anyone talk about this book, but I found it on either a Goodreads list or I found it because it was recommended to me or something like that. Next up is Talking at Night by Claire Daverly. I've seen this book pop up on my Goodreads recommendations all the time. I've also seen people make TikToks and videos about it, and I've heard it's a very good book. Now we are nearing the end of the book haul. I only have 2 books left to talk about, but the next book is This Time Tomorrow by Emma Straub. The only reason that I picked up this book was because I saw the cover of it being recommended to me in like Goodreads, and when I clicked into the book, I wanted to see what it was about. And then I was further intrigued because I saw Emily Henry had left a raving review for this book. I think she gave it 5 stars. So I'm very intrigued by this book. I'm not 100% sure what it's about. I think it has elements of magic realism in it. And then last up on my haul is The Lion Woman of Turin. This is another historical fiction book. I have no idea what this book is about, but it has amazing reviews on Goodreads. I saw someone say it's about girlhood, coming of age, and friendship, and things like that, and that kind of sold me, so I ended up adding it to my cart, and I'm very excited to read this eventually too. And that wraps up this book haul. It's currently like 1 p.m. I'm going to be making a matcha while I talk about the murder mystery event that we went to last night. Last night, my sisters, my cousin, and I went to a dinner and we were doing this murder mystery event, and it was very overwhelming. My sisters, my cousin, and I, we all were not expecting what the event was. I thought it was going to be kind of like people acting on stage or some sort, and we would just be figuring out the murder mystery throughout our dinner, but it was a lot of interaction with the actors, or not even a lot, it's just like more than we expected, I think. So that was kind of what threw us off. So it was just a lot of stimulation, I guess is the best word to say. Overall, it was a good experience. Like, it was fun, and like I really appreciate the actors putting in their effort into creating these scenarios and like the scene and really engaging with each of the tables. But I think because all of us are such introverts that it just made the experience a little bit too overwhelming for each of us. Anyway, that's my update on yesterday. I do not actually have much of a reading update. I feel like this is not going to be a satisfying pour, but I'll try my best. Anyway, what I was saying was that I actually have not had that much time to read lately. So I haven't had much time to read. I think I've only gone to like 25% of the Dragon Republic from when I started, and then Us Against You, I might have only read maybe 10 pages of Us Against You. I'm kind of sad about that, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a little bit more reading done this weekend because it is long weekend. However, I am busy on Monday, but I hope like just because I have a long weekend, it'll be a little bit easier to get in some more reading because I do really like the books that I'm reading right now, and I've been wanting to read. It's just that anytime I get the opportunity to, almost too tired to read, I kind of just fall asleep. So that's kind of my reading update, not much of an update. I'm still very much enjoying both books. I'm going to drink my matcha and do some chores around the house, and that's my Saturday. Give an update. I think it's been 8 or 9 days since the last time I talked. I have quite a few things to catch up on in terms of what I've been doing and what I'm reading. But first and foremost, I want to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year if you celebrate. By the time I'm filming this clip, and then by the time I probably upload the video, it's going to be way past Lunar New Year, but I still want to say happy Lunar New Year. In terms of what I've been doing, I think at the start of this video, I said I had 2 Lunar New Year events. I actually ended up having 4 technically. I said some of them were just kind of like family dinners. I still consider them to be separate events, but I had 4 Lunar New Year celebrations, one of them being at my grandma's house. I think I filmed a couple of clips there. The second one was at my house. We had a couple of family members come over as well for dinner. The third one was the one that we also had planned already, which was the bigger celebration with my partner's family. We went to a Chinese restaurant, kind of like a banquet style restaurant, and then the last one was a family dinner at my partner's family's house. All very fun. I had a lot of fun with all the Lunar New Year activities, but I am socially maxed out. Now for my reading update, I have 2 updates kind of. The first one being I finished Us Against You by Fredrik. I ended up giving this 5 stars, my first 5-star read of the year. I can't say too much about what goes on in this book obviously because it's the second book in the series, but I will say I would highly recommend reading this book. I would say the first half of this book was like a 4-star, 4.5 star to me. I really enjoyed reading about the characters and what was going on. There were some parts of it that were drawing in new characters that kind of took me a while to get into the book. And also something else I didn't really like about this book was that it was doing a lot of recapping from what happened in Beartown, and that's something I generally kind of dislike about sequels or series in general when they have to recap the events from previous book, which I do understand because if you're not reading this once all the books are published and you're reading it like year after year, or if it's published 2 years apart, I actually don't know for sure in this case, but you do need a little bit of a recap. But I feel like there's also a way that you can recap the story without making it seem like it's a recap, and also because there are so many characters in this book and you're all in like different point of views at so many different parts of the story, you do get a lot of the recap from each of their different perspectives. I think a lot of the plot and the character development happened in the second half of the book, so I think that's what made it a 5-star for me. But Fredrik just has a way of writing, a way with his words that makes you really care about the characters in the story, and there are so many characters in this book, and yet I feel like at any point in the book you will start caring about each and every one of them. Fredrik just has a way with his words, and I highly highly recommend this series. It is very, very good. I obviously haven't read the third book yet, but considering how I gave Beartown 5 stars and Us Against You 5 stars, I can't imagine that I won't give The Winners 5 stars, especially if it is a lot of character work like the first 2 books are. And then second update I have is not as exciting, but I have gotten a little bit further in The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. I think I'm at 51% or something like that now, so I'm halfway through. Unfortunately, I'm not enjoying this as much as I want to and as much as people have enjoyed this. I know this is a really beloved series and I really wanted to like it. I think with the Poppy War, I was a little bit underwhelmed as well, but I still enjoyed it. I think it was a well-written book, but I think within this story, I'm enjoying it even less. And honestly, I don't even really know why, because the premise of the story is very interesting to me. The magic system is interesting. I think I'm just not enjoying the characters very much, or like how the story is written. It feels like a little bit like it's dragging on, and maybe because I haven't had that much time to read in the past 2-ish weeks that I've started this book, I think that could be a factor in it, especially because I know myself and I know that if I take a really long time to read a book, I will be more likely to rate it lower. So I think that could also be a factor, and it's making me also not want to continue the series. Hopefully the second half of the book picks up, who knows. Hopefully I will get through this book quicker and I will enjoy the latter half a lot more. That pretty much wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed spending a few days in my life with me. If you want to keep up to date with what I'm reading outside of these videos, my Goodreads and Fable are always linked down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.